for today, I want us to really lean into today because today's about being kind. The message we started on the prayer for those that were there this morning. Thank you for those that want to be part of it. It's our 7:30 prayer call that we do, but we talked about being kind and how it's a choice and some prayers around that, and that's where it all started this morning. And so I want us to really read this today. Read this with really deep down inside of you of the type of person, your character, your integrity. So everybody come off of mute. Come off of mute. I'm gonna be watching everybody. I'm gonna be watching everybody's mute button. So if you're saying your profanity words, get them out now. Get them out now before you come off of mute. So come off of mute. Come off of mute. David, you too. David, I see you, Dave. There he goes. I get excited. On the count of three, let's all say it together. One, two, and three.
Something
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 good is
good
going
good
to
is
is
going to
happen
going
to
to
happen to
me.
happen
me.
to
Something
me.
good
Something
is
good
going
is
to
going to
happen
Something
happen
good
to
is
me.
going to
happen
happen
to
to
me.
me. There you go. I love it. Now we get to see how many people go back to mute. So I think this message probably started. I don't even know it has anything to do with it, but Mike Castner called me yesterday, and we were talking about the show yesterday, and he was sharing with me some things, and I don't think he realizes the magnitude of his message that he told me yesterday because I've been trying to make a lot of choices and trying to figure out choices and trying to figure out things, and um, I just think this whole being kind and I'm not going to get into it. It's just social media can be very, very dangerous if you allow it to get inside of you. And I've been reading a lot of things. Our company made some changes on some policies, and it tickles me and what people say about it. I own my own company for many years, and when you get sued all and you got to deal with attorneys and lawsuits, and you're the head cheese, it's not fun. I dealt with it many, many years. And so when I read negativity, it just really it bothers me quite a bit. And so that's kind of where I think it escalated or the root was inside of me. And so I want to read to you a story about a taxi driver and an elderly woman. And when I share this message with you all, like I said, it's not my normal rah-rah type of thing. I just want you to really think about where you are in yourself and how you are. Are you victim? Are you woe is me? Are you in a position it's just like you don't get it, Brock? You don't understand? Because there's a lot of challenges that we have in our society, our world, financially, emotionally, in our businesses, whatever we might be going into. And so I just really thought this story really resonated and I truly enjoyed it. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna share it this morning. So here's a story about a taxi driver and an elderly woman. About 20 years ago, there was a man who drove a cab. It's 20 years ago because now everybody drives Ubers and Lyfts. So 20 years ago, he drove a cab for a living. One night, around 2:30 in the morning, he arrived at an address to pick someone up. The building was dark except for one single light shining from the ground floor window. Now, under those circumstances, a lot of cab drivers probably would have honked once or twice, maybe waited a minute or two, and then driven off. But this driver had learned something over the years. He had seen too many elderly people, sick people, and struggling people who depend on this taxi for their transportation. So, unless something felt dangerous, the taxi driver would go to the door. He walked up, knocked, and after a moment, a frail elderly voice called out, "Just a minute." After a long pause, the door opened. Standing in front of him was a small woman in her 80s. Beside her was a small suitcase. She looked at him and said, "Would you mind carrying that bag for me to the car?" So he picked up the suitcase, took it to the cab, and then came back to help her. She took his arm and then slowly walked towards the curb. As they walked, she kept thanking him for his kindness. He says, "It's nothing. I just try to treat all my passengers the way I want my mother to be treated. When they got into the cab, she gave him the address. Then she said, "Could you drive through downtown?" He said, "Well, that's not the shortest way." She replied, "I don't mind. I'm in no hurry. I'm on my way to hospice." The driver looked in the rearview mirror and he saw her eyes filled with tears. She said quietly, almost to herself, "I don't have much family left. The doctor says I don't have very long." At that moment, the driver reached over and turned the meter off. Then he asked her, "What route would you like me to take?" For the next 2 hours, they drove all around the city. She showed him buildings where she had once worked as an elevator operator. They drove through the neighborhood where she and her husband had lived and where they were newly married. She had him pull up in front of a furniture warehouse that used to be the ballroom where she got her dancing lessons as a young girl. Sometimes she would ask him to slow down in front of particular buildings or street corners, and she would just sit there, staring into the darkness, saying nothing. As the first light of morning began to appear on the horizon, she finally said, "Okay, I'm now ready to go. Let's go." They drove in silence and to the address she gave him. And it was a low building. Two older ladies came out of the cab or came out, out to the cab as they pulled up. They were gentle, careful, and attentive as they were expecting her. The driver opened the trunk, took out her small suitcase, and carried it to the door. By that time, the woman was already seated in her wheelchair. She looked up at him and said, "How much do I owe you?" He said, "You don't owe me anything." She says, "But you have to make a living." He replied, "There are other passengers." Then, almost without thinking, he bent down and gave her a hug. She held on to him tightly and said, "You gave an old you gave an old woman a little bit of joy. Thank you." He squeezed her hand and walked away into the dim morning light. Behind him, a door shut, and he says it felt like the sound of a life closing. He drove aimlessly for the rest of the day, lost in thought. He hardly could speak. He kept thinking, hmm, what if this woman got an angry driver? What if she had gotten someone impatient? What if I just honked the horn once and drove away? What if I refused to take that call? And then he said something powerful. Looking back, I don't think I've ever done anything like that. No, wait. Looking back, I don't think I've ever done anything more important in my life. That is the power of kindness. Sometimes sometimes what feels like a small moment to us can become a sacred moment for someone else. A kind word, a patient heart, a gentle response, a willingness to slow down. You never know when your kindness may be giving someone exactly what they need at the moment that they need it most. The end. So I've now read it 3 times this morning, and I don't think that, like I said, kindness is a choice. There's going to be decisions that you're going to make today that are going to direct other or help other people. You could see things today, say something to somebody that could really affect the rest of their life on some of the comments that you make or certain things. And Paul doesn't realize it, but like that moment that, I hit my stupid head with this golf ball has really made an impact on me in how I think, where the ball could have went, how I'm able to still be here. And then Paul, I mean, he was down the hill and the man came running up, knowing that I was in a challenging spot. And it makes me think of his kindness, calling the ambulance, holding me, making sure I didn't fall out of the golf cart. These moments that make an impact. And so today, I'm going to share with you 7 key things that I took from this story about being kind, because it is a choice. It's an opportunity that we get to help somebody. We can make an impact in somebody's life. Many of you made an impact in my life. Many of you made an impact in my mom's life yesterday. For all of you who said happy birthday to my mom, she's like, I don't even know. She's like, I don't even know half these people. I said, they know you, Mom. They know you. So thank you for being kind to her. It meant a lot to her. My dad's a nervous wreck, by the way, all from coming in on Friday. My dad's the guest on Friday, so come back all if you want to see some entertainment. So he will be our figured out Friday guest. But let me go through these 7 things with you all this morning. I told you it's gonna be a little different today. Number 1, kindness is hard when you've been hurt. Kindness is hard when you've been hurt. I shared it a little bit about this morning on the prayer call that I'm 8 years, 9 years, no, I'm more than that. Probably 9 years into carrying resentfulness towards my ex-father-in-law. And I'm struggling. And so I look at that, number 1, I'm like, you know what? I'm hurt. I'm upset. But how do I overcome kindness? How do I allow that? It's easy to say it's a choice. But in certain moments, I can guarantee everybody on this call at 100%, at some point you've been mistreated. You've been overlooked. You've been talked about. You've had things happen to you. And how do you handle it? How do you handle your kindness? Number 2, bitterness takes up space that kindness needs. Bitterness takes up kindness that kindness needs. I remember telling my mom with my brother and his drinking that my mom wouldn't let it go. I don't even know how many years, 10, 12, 13 years. My brother fought this and battled it. My mom wouldn't let it go. And I remember sitting down with her. It was a hard conversation. I said, Mom, I need you to stop. She's like, what do you mean? I said, you have to make room. Like, you are smothering Brent. You are enabling him. You have to get out of the way so then God can go into his heart, because you're in his way. He just always has you. So sometimes in life, when we're holding on to something that we truly don't want to let go, we have to make room. It's full. We talked about our garages, full to the brim until we do our spring cleaning, because we collect things over fall and winter. What are you collecting? Number 3, don't mistake kindness for weakness. Don't mistake kindness for weakness. And I think that was the message that I received from Mike Kastner yesterday when he was telling me about how the way I operate and what I do. He's like, you're so focused on your schedule all the time, you forget what's around you. Is this call just a call because it's a 15-minute call to check in? Are you really involved? Are you really purposeful? Are you really intentional? The people you have conversations with, is just be like, okay, I got to make 20 phone calls today. I get my 20 and I move on. because I'm supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to be powerful. I'm supposed to be the disciplined man. And sometimes it's like if I'm kind, maybe I could be looked at as weak. And so when I read this, don't mistake kindness as weakness. The world may respect people who are tough-hearted and guarded, but God calls us to be tender-hearted, forgiving, and humble. Number 4, one kind word can breathe life into somebody. I'm going to ask you today to truly, if you're willing to say something kind to somebody today, no matter what type of mood you're in. Maybe you didn't sleep well. Maybe you got a hangover. Maybe you're all jacked up about the Stanley Cup. Maybe you're jacked up about I don't know. But if you're willing to give a kind word to somebody today, I want you to put me in the chat. Whether you do it or not, it's only up to you because the character and integrity that you have. But put a me in the chat if you're willing to maybe call somebody from this show. Maybe send somebody a text message. Maybe send your loved one something nice out of the blue. Think about it. If you send a message to your significant other, a child or something like that, and just say, I just want to tell you I love you. Would they be like, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing that? That seems to be out of the blue. Is everything okay? Maybe you're not doing it enough then. Number 5, you never know what someone is carrying. We talked about this. Because I got this stupid thing on my head, you know what happened to me? Many times I deal with situations just like you all deal with situations. People don't assume it because I come on here every single morning and act all vibrant and jubilant and everything else under the sun. But I got shit storms coming in left and right. I got financial problems. I got court issues. I got challenges. But you can't see it because it's on the inside of me. And many of you on here have challenges as well. I know it. I'm blessed to have many conversations with you all, whether it's financially, spiritually, mentally, in a relationship, addiction. But we don't know what somebody's carrying. That's why it's so important to lean into being positive, having kindness, because it's a choice. And that one word could change everything to you, or to that person, I should say. I'm sorry. Number 6, do not withhold encouragement. Do not withhold encouragement. There's many times I see my dad. He wears his Vietnam hat. And there's many people that walk up to him and say, thank you for your services. And I've noticed that. And I see that activity taking place. And I'm like, why don't I say that to somebody else? Why don't I thank somebody for their services? Besides on Veterans Day or Memorial Day, where I bring it up. Why am I not doing that more? I don't know about you all, but I see people wearing Navy, Army, veterans at the grocery store, at public places. Why don't I stop and say thank you? Why don't I give encouragement? And it's going to go back to Mike Kastner. Am I too busy? Is it not on my schedule? Do I just operate so strictly that I don't leave room for kindness? And maybe that's a message for somebody today. Maybe somebody's just like me and you're just so strict, or you don't have time. I'm busy, 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 busy. That encouragement could change their entire projection. And I always see my dad's face when they say thank you for your services. He gets a little choked up sometimes. Because I'm sure things happen inside of him that trigger. He's seen people die. He's had to carry bodies. He was out there. I can't imagine what that must feel like, look like. These are all things that we have to, you know, Don't hold encouragement. Number 7. This one's my favorite. Nobody is in your life by accident. Sharon said something the other day that I was listening to one of his videos, and it has like the most views that I've seen on a lot of his stuff. And he works with Alex Hermosi. So if when I say like he's gotten millions of views on it, like it was something very powerful. He says, God puts everybody in your life for a reason. And so when I read nobody is in your life by accident, I feel it's so true. This conversation is for somebody today. I don't know who. You're going to meet somebody today. I don't know who, but it's all for a reason. It's all for a purpose. I've met many of you on here in some capacity, in some way. Some of you are new on here, and I'm thankful. I just met Donna on Friday, who's now on here today. And Donna was at the beach hall. I'm dealing with a referral that seems to be taking a little bit longer than it should. And she stepped out from what she was doing to help me. I recognize that. I even was at the grocery store and I said, well, that was very nice of her to do that as I'm walking through the aisles. And then I started to be like, who can I help right now while I'm out here? And as simple as this little thing of getting somebody's grocery cart for this person, I was like, I'll take it back. It's also one of my pet peeves that people don't bring their grocery cart back. I'm like, why don't you do that? Like, it's the simplest little thing. That and making your bed. 2 things. But there's reason why people are on here. There's reasons why you've had conversations. And I encourage you to reach out to people on the show. I did it last week, all. I told you all, like, put your phone numbers on here, engage with people. How many people really did it? How many people really did it? And then I'm going to ask you the next level. Did you just stop after that day? Did you do it the next day? Did you do it the next day? Or did you just like, well, I did what Brock said. I made those phone calls and I talked to people and I texted people and I did it that day and I wrote down my notes. And then when he asked how many people I did, I was able to put numbers down. But then we stopped. I challenge you to continue to do it. I talked to Jared and his team, Hunter. I was like, why aren't you reaching out to real estate agents and lenders on here? Does every single person who buys a home have to have homeowners insurance, car insurance, personal insurance? Why the hell aren't you talking to them and helping them? Do we got a big problem in our society with insurance being really expensive? Yeah, you might be able to help them. So today, I challenge you to be kind, to don't hold back. You're going to meet somebody today that you need to have a conversation with. You're going to meet somebody today that God put inside or had a moment for you. Don't be too busy. Don't leave room for God, spiritualness, kindness. If you got something out of today, we're going to go and I want you to put me in the chat. We're going to stay away from the 5 today, even though I really wanted to say it, Chet. But put me in the chat. If you got something out of today, if you really got something out of today, I want you to put kind in the chat. Let's fill the chats up with kindness. Let's fill it up with something different besides numbers, something that takes us a little bit more energy, a little bit more effort to do. And I'm also going to challenge you once we get done putting all the kinds and the me's in here. I'm going to put my cell phone in here. And I'm going to ask you to share with me a moment that you paid it forward. And then just text me and say I paid it forward. Maybe I'm your accountability today. But at the same token, it's going to help me make sure that I continue to pay it forward and to be kind and show kindness in whatever capacity that might be. And for those of you who want to have conversations with other people, I'm going to challenge you again. John Hart did it. If I were in your shoes, I just happen to be the leader of this show, so it's a little bit different. But John Hart did it this morning. Put your phone number. I put my phone number on here every time I was on the show and saying, if anybody wants to reach out to me, reach out to me. If anybody wants to have a conversation, reach out to me. If anybody's looking for an ear to listen or a mastermind, I put your phone number on here every single time. Be like, hey, this is my name. This is what I do. Call me. You want to share something? That's what it's all about, all because you don't know who you can help today in whatever capacity that might be. All right, everybody. It's 8:45. I'm back. I'm back. I don't know who that other Brock was, but here I am. Here I am. Real Brock over here. Guys, I really appreciate you all tremendously. Thank you so much for being on here today. A little different of a show today, but it just felt like kindness was something that was really important to me, and then I wanted to share it with you all. Guys, go be kind, be blessed, be happy, go pay it forward, go share it with somebody. I appreciate you all. Don't forget to text me. I love to be able to hear your stories and your message on how it felt to you, and you're paying it forward. God bless you all. We'll be back tomorrow morning with our main man, Mr. Chris Reshitar, will be leading us on the first Wednesday. You know, he's always bringing something tactical to help your business. So come back and join us. And for those of you who want to meet my dad, Friday, figured out Friday, he will be with me because he cannot do Zoom. So he has to be with me. So he will be live with me. And I'm sure my mom will be sitting in the back making some smart remarks because that's how they operate. So come join us on Friday. Invite others to our show. God bless you all. Till tomorrow. See ya.